Hey guys, how you doing? This is Toxic Ear 5, and today I'm going to be talking about the loot system today. I feel like Bungie is definitely on a right path on improving and making the way we gain loot in the game better. And more not streamlined, but more worth our while. I see that between the raid with you being able to get tokens and get weapons at the end of it and hope for the best to get a weapon that you want because how the raid is set up. And this season with the reemergence of the Umbro Recaster, I do see that Bungie is listening and looking at ways to improve, our time in the game and how we manage our time. Is it's quite frustrating when you're grinding for one weapon, you're grinding, but only thing you're getting is armor pieces and a linear fusion rifle that you don't even want. It's it's kind of it's understandable. This is a looter shooter. That loot should be, if you're going for loot, it should kind of be not so easy to obtain, and I understand that. But I feel like it's kind of unnecessarily bloated in the way that it's ridiculous. When you look at the vendors, you see, you know, how the system is. It kind of comes down to, okay, I have 3,000 weapon parts and armor parts for Banshee, and I really want a Ikelos SMG because the Ikelos SMG is a world drop. I'm gonna grind Banshee because he's the best way to get world drops. Well, I went through 3,000 weapon parts and armor parts, and I got nothing but armor pieces. And I'm not going to say that it's not fair or it is fair or not, or it's a bad thing that it's like that, but I definitely do see a lot of people getting discouraged when it comes down to grinding for for a certain weapon they want. If let's take for example Destiny 1. And Destiny 1, during Taken King, at some point in time Bungie came to a realization that it was hard grinding in that game. It was significantly more hard to grind in Destiny 1 compared to Destiny 2. And back in Destiny 1, they realized how difficult it is to get weapons and get armor pieces due to how the RNG system was. So they enabled that every vendor that you rank up has the ability to give you either a class item, a armor piece, or a weapon. And this significantly boosts people wanting to grind for weapons. and armor and class items. Like, I'm not saying that we should make it easier, but I do think that the loot system shouldn't be this bloated and oversaturated to the point where, for the most part, I only see armored pieces every time I go to Saladin during Iron Banner, or I get armored pieces when I go to Banshee or Shaxx. I find that kind of ridiculous in a sense because I got all my armor sets. I have all my armor. All I want is, you know, a specific weapon to chase, you know? That gives me incentive. That gives me I need to come back, you know? That's how you keep, you know, someone engaged. Not saying that's the best way to keep someone engaged. You shouldn't try to, you know, be like grind for something and, you know, this is content. Grind is not content. Grinding is not the way to go. But it is a buffer. You know, you still have people farming trials and Crucible and Nightfall GMs and the raid just to get that weapon. So they're going to continue to come back. But once they get that weapon and there's no other content, then that's when, you know, the game is done for them for you know, a little bit. Probably for the season. So we've seen in the past that, you know, Bungie is actually, you know, seeing the, you know, the frustrations. Just this season, they changed the fact that Shaxx doesn't take tokens anymore. There's and you can see that they're starting to slowly roll out the token system. And since they're slowly rolling out the token system, I don't know how long it's going to take for them to roll it out. Probably next expansion, they can probably get rid of all the all vendors with token systems, and just, you know, switch it to the system that, you know, Shaxx is currently in. You know, we have to see. But, you know, with them going changing how they do content for seasons and for, you know, full expansions, they're not quote unquote sunsetting seasons anymore. So you can still, well, what I know of, I may be totally wrong, is I don't really pay attention to a lot of these things, but next season you can still do the proving grounds. You can still do the Umbra recaster. You know, you still have that content to grind after the weapons from the previous season. Sunsetting is gone, so you don't have to worry about losing your weapons. Which, you know, it's a really good thing to a certain point, you know, until we have, you know, too much loot and, you know, too much data, and, you know, that's the more logistical, you know, side of things. But we're not going to get into that. But yeah, it's interesting to see that, you know, Bungie is actually starting to, you know, pivot its stance on a lot of things in the game, and I can see that they're slowly slowly changing the loot system. It may not be, one final go, but they're slowly doing it. They just have to keep on top of it, and they have to do a good job with it. Because currently, you know, elephant in the room, Bungie is under hot water right now. Well, in hot water. They, the whole transmog debacle kind of has, the player base split, or just, outright against the company due to, how they're running the business. So right now, they're in a crucial moment where they have to perform. They have to execute this the best way they can. I'm not saying that, they should implement a system for every vendor like the Umbro Recaster, where you can get, if you get a certain charge, you can get this specific weapon. No. I'm just saying you should shrink the loot pool so that it's not so bloated and oversaturated with, you know, loot. You know, I can't tell you how many times, I've been to shacks, and or even the drifter. I was trying to farm for, the bottom dollar. But guess what? Only thing I got was, hold on. Never mind. Scratch that. Drifter, I'm pretty sure the drifter doesn't take tokens. So the drifter is different. That's a bad example. But, I was farming the Vanguard and using the tokens from the Vanguard to try to, get, let's say a long shadow. Well, the only thing I'm getting is armor pieces, and haven't gotten a long shadow to drop. So I don't know where Bungie is gonna go with this, and I hope they go in a good direction, in a positive direction. I hope that, they hear what we think should be changed, and, and strive for the future. That's all I want. And that's what anyone in this community wants. So let's have a discussion. And the chat, tell me, do you like this idea, or do you want to see change? Let me know. Like and subscribe. Share.